Hi, I'm Gavin Thorne, a student on the MA Indie Game Development course at Falmouth University. My father always used to say a rut is a grave with the ends kicked in. The trouble is, I was stuck in that rut. I was doing 100 miles an hour down a dead-end road and getting nowhere, fast. It was time to bust out of my somnambulistic daily routine, take control and choose my own destiny. At school, I wrote text-based adventure games inspired by the works of Scott Adams. I took my friends on quests through ancient pyramids, haunted dungeons and derelict spaceships. To my surprise, I found it just as rewarding to see them complete an adventure as I did to write it. But my professional career is the diametric opposite, developing serious software that most people aren't even aware of. Groundbreaking? Yes. Rewarding? No. I want to write fun software again, that entertains, that creates a sense of achievement. That's why I want to develop games. Our first module, Development Practice, was everything I'd hoped it would be and more. I recognised very early on my biggest challenge would be time management, making sure I had sufficient time for my family, to study and to do the day job. Falling behind was not an option. To keep up with the workload, I put in place a default diary and ran the module as a series of one-week sprints, managing the work in Jira. I use Agile Scrum and source control on a daily basis and have done for many years. One advantage I have over my peers is this has reduced my learning curve and allowed me to focus more on the project than the process. Inspiration and coming up with an idea for a game has always been a showstopper, so I really look forward to the creativity segment. The concepts we covered were absolutely mind-blowing. For me, this was a major highlight of the module and the area I feel I gained the most. I feel I improve each time I use a technique, but I'm conscious that I can do better if I step out of my comfort zone, be more courageous and take more risks. I was very nervous about the first rapid ideation session. I had no idea what to expect, what the time commitment would be, and was fearful of not coming up with an idea. With a tight deadline and so many unknowns, I was really worried about not delivering. But, as I once said to my chief exec, excuses don't deliver products, so I embraced the problem and just got on with it. My workflow was simple. Start with a quick brainstorm to harvest ideas, then choose one to pursue further. I felt most comfortable with the iStep creativity model, so ran with that, setting a 45-minute time limit for the inspiration phase and playing steampunk sea shanties by Abney Park on Spotify to stay focused. Well, it was in keeping with the theme. What dropped out was a maths-based game with a very simple UI to help kids learn their times tables. It was a world away from the RPG I really wanted to develop, but the big takeaway from this exercise was to not force the creativity in a particular direction. It needs oxygen to grow and freedom to evolve in whichever way it wants. And the best part? I really enjoyed it. For the second rapid ideation, I wanted to push myself a lot harder, so set much tougher targets. Whereas before I'd use stock assets, this time I wanted to delve deeper into creating my own, to experiment with animation, particle effects and shader effects. The concept I came up with was a nurse fighting coronavirus with a big syringe full of vaccine. The goal? To kill the virus before the townsfolk get infected. I found the animation, shader and particle effects in Unity were much easier than I anticipated. For the fog shader, I mostly followed a YouTube tutorial, but I'm particularly proud of the modifications I came up with to give it a soft edge. Ironically, the biggest issue I had was with colliders. Until now, I hadn't appreciated the subtle differences between collisions and triggers or the need for masking. Both game jams were really great fun, and I plan to do a few more over the coming weeks and months. I found they're a good sandpit to play in, to experiment with ideas and learn new techniques. The knowledge and skills I obtained in this module will be invaluable for the next, game development. Here I plan to build on what I've learned thus far and gain first-hand experience of a wider gamut of disciplines: game art, modelling, animation, sound and level design. As I look to the future, my primary objective remains the same: to launch my own game development studio and achieve financial independence by the end of 2025. To achieve this, I've set myself SMART goals that cover the three different aspects I need to focus on: personal development, business planning and financial. It's ambitious, but with a fair wind and a calm sea, I believe it's achievable.